I'm Rob Thomas, editor-in-chief of Club and Resort Business, and welcome to another episode of the Club and Resort Talks podcast. Today's guest is Mike Johnston, director of golf at Cabot Citrus Farms. They got a lot going on down there. The golf courses, two championship courses, two short courses, stuff, so much going on down there. There's going to be, residences, there's going to be a lot happening. So Mike will tell you all about that. But before we get to Mike, let me tell you that today's episode is sponsored by JBD JGA Design and Architecture. Since its founding by Judd Brown and Steve McMahon in 1983, JBD JGA Design and Architecture has successfully completed an impressive array of design projects for private clubs throughout the United States. The experienced staff of more than 25 design professionals has completed a multitude of award-winning architectural and interior design projects, including golf clubs, country clubs, and city clubs. Learn more at jbd-jga.com. We got our sponsor taken care of. I've already told you that Mike Johnston is going to be our guest. So now let me throw a little news at you, okay? That's what we talk about here. We get you a little bit of news before we throw it into the meat and potatoes. Let me tell you that the redesigned interior of the Marco Island Yacht Club maximizes space efficiently, expanding both dining and gathering areas. Outside, motorized weather shades were integrated into the exterior seating areas, providing protection from the elements and enhancing usability. The first floor outdoor bar was also expanded. Nice ribbon cutting ceremony down there. Getting ready for, well, I guess they are in their season, but unlike a lot of places, yacht clubs go well into that summer heat because they're out on the water. So good for them. Marco Island Yacht Club looks beautiful, and the clubhouse is meeting and exceeding their members' needs. Next up, how about this Arizona club getting creative to fight lake erosion? Blackstone Country Club in Peoria, Arizona, enlisted PTI Golf to install SOx erosion solutions on the irrigation lake bordering the fourth hole during an 8-day process. The local chapter of the Arizona Golf Course Superintendents Association, Cactus and Pine, gathered on site to watch the installation. The before, during, and after images is just very appealing to me. Whatever the case may be, take it from the same spot. It just catches my eye, and I love sharing it. It looks fantastic. I mean, obviously, the before they had the erosion going on, and it was looking kind of beat up. During, well, it's certainly not pretty to see the work being done, but after, boy, it's worth it. It's worth the effort, and I think that SOx Erosion Solutions was originally down in Florida, maybe almost exclusively in Florida, but they're expanding as part of PTI Golf. Now they're in the Southwest, obviously. So they're doing some good stuff down there, and it's eco-friendly. So good on them. Last but not least, on the news side, congratulations to the Atlanta Athletic Club for being honored for visual merchandising. According to the Association of Golf Merchandisers, the Johns Creek, Georgia Club earned recognition for outstanding retail performance and dedication to enhancing the member and guest experience. Wow. I've been to Atlanta Athletic Club. I've been in their pro shop. I bought a t-shirt there. And I have to tell you, it is amazing. We've talked about it as being a model club. They have appeared on a webinar to discuss what they do. It is a big club, big pro shop. It really is a full retail experience, and they have a lot of SEC. They have a whole section of SEC stuff. So if you're a Gator fan, if you're a Bama fan, whatever, they have. I should say Bulldogs too, since it is in Georgia. But they have a lot going on there, and I can attest to how great that pro shop really is. So now we got that taken care of. We know we got the news. We have a sponsor, JBDJGA. Thank you very much. And now let's get to Mike Johnston, Director of Golf at Cabot Citrus Farms. Hello, welcome back to the Club Resort Talks podcast. I'm joined by Mike Johnston, Director of Golf at Cabot Citrus Farms. Mike, welcome to the show.
Rob, thank you so much for having me. I'm super honored and excited to talk about the all the great things happening here at Cabot Citrus Farms.
Well, I mean, Cabot's a big name in the brand. Obviously, you've got a huge brand behind you, and Citrus Farms. We're here in Florida, right? So this is big, big time. If you could, before we get into the meat and potatoes, give us a little 10,000 foot view of Cabot Citrus Farms.
Yeah, so Cabot Citrus Farms located in Brooksville, Florida. So we're less than an hour north of Tampa, and it's a new property that Cabot has taken over, but it was originally opened in the early 90s called Worldwoods and had two great Tom Fazio designed golf courses, short courses, state-of-the-art 360-degree driving range. And we were fortunate to purchase the property 3 years ago and completely take what was two amazing golf courses in Pine Barrens and Rolling Oaks and try to enhance those and create even better golf experience and then add in some great amenities with real estate and some great accommodations and then après golf, I like to call it, with some of our amenities. So super excited to be here at Cabot Citrus Farms, and there's a lot of great things happening.
So obviously, the golf world was excited to see Cabot venture into Florida. I mean, you guys are around the world already, and it's a big, big brand. What particularly excites you most about Cabot Citrus Farms?
Yeah, I so my journey started with Cabot in Canada at Cabot Links. I was the head professional there for 2 years. But the Cabot brand started 14 years ago in Inverness, Nova Scotia, a remote location on Cape Breton Island. And over the years, the golf courses have been ranked in the top five in Canada, annually, with Cabot Cliffs being number one and Cabot Links currently number three. So there's no question that Ben Cowandour, our founder, really, creates world-class golf courses and golf experiences. So, fortunately for us, we get a lot of in Cape Breton. We had a lot of Americans come up to visit during the summer, a lot from the Northeast, and I think having a property here in Florida gives those golfers that experience the cold, snowy winters a place to come play and that Cabot experience that they seek here down in Florida in the winter months. So, and it really goes back to Ben Cowandour, our owner. He's, while he's been wildly successful in the golf destination space, he's incredibly humble. And I think that level of humility is instilled with all the team members, all the staff, and it's really a main part of our culture here at Cabot. So, fortunately, with those guests traveling to different Cabot properties, we're super excited to, provide more Americans the opportunity to come visit us here at Citrus Farms here in Florida, and as well create a destination for golfers during the winter months. So it's super exciting, and it's similar to Cabot Bordeaux in France, providing more people that live in France the opportunity to play a Cabot property, and Cabot Highlands in Scotland, for example. So we're getting a lot of locals, a lot of people from Brooksville, and a lot of people from Tampa, Orlando, and Florida that have the experience to, or the opportunity to experience a Cabot property that maybe they haven't, been fortunate enough to travel to, Cape Breton in Canada, for example. So it's super exciting. This is our first U.S. property, and U.S. is such a massive golf market, and we're super excited to be here and provide the opportunity to experience a Cabot property.
Well, as a golfer in cold and snowy Cleveland, Ohio, I am looking forward to getting down and visiting y'all in sunny Florida. So fingers crossed I get down there soon. Can you tell us a little bit about the design philosophy behind the two 18-hole courses, Karoo and Roost?
Yeah, so as I said, the property here is super unique. It's not like your typical Florida landscape where, my experience golfing in Florida growing up, it's pretty flat, a lot of water, can be challenging, but sometimes not quite as playable as you might want with all the water features. So, we like to call it Florida Golf Reimagined. We have over 80 feet of elevation change on property. That's all natural, part of the Brooksville Ridge that runs right through our property. And the goal is really to expand on the work of Tom Fazio at Worldwoods. So we have two great 18-hole championship golf courses in Karoo and Roost. So if we start with Karoo, Kyle Franz is the architect. He did a lot of work in the Pinehurst area, but never had done a solo project. So this is Kyle's first solo project, and had some great guests here on site a couple of months ago that love Kyle Franz, and they said this is Kyle unleashed. It's him, going all out, having that sort of blank canvas. So we took the Pine Barrens course of Worldwoods, and Kyle, completely did a lot of reshaping and created a super unique golf course. It's super dynamic. We have a lot of large greens, a lot of great contouring on the greens, a lot of multi-route holes with split fairways. So really from one day to the next, depending on pin location, depending on wind, golfers will experience a totally different golf course. So, it really encourages creativity around the greens. There's quite often you have three, four, five different club options around the greens, and it's playable. We don't really have many water features. There's one pond, and it's not even really in play. It's off the tee of a par three, but so it's playable for all skill levels, but it's also a great challenge for even the best players. And we were fortunate enough to have a PGA Tour player come out, and I played with him, and he said, "I haven't had this much fun golfing in a long time." And he was kind of chipping into some of the bowls and using the backstops and getting the ball to funnel in towards hole locations, and he was just having a blast. So that was so much fun to see. Moving on to Roost, which is a phenomenal strategic layout. It was really a design by committee, if you will. We had Kyle Franz do some work. Mike Nuzzo was a big part of that. Rod Whitman, legendary Rod Whitman came in, did the greens, and then Rand Morissette as an advisor to kind of pull all of these people together and create the Roost. So when you play Roost, you really experience that old Florida charm. It feels like you're in old Florida. A lot of elevation change. You've got these massive live oak trees, and it really gives you a feeling of bucolic bliss. Like you're out in nature and you're out walking the fairways. It feels like you're escaping all the things, in everybody's busy life. You're out there just you and the golf course. It's very serene. So it's a phenomenal golf course, and the two, Roost and Karoo, I mean, they're a total contrast to one another. When you play Roost, you're experiencing those lush green rolling hills. There's not a ton of bunkering, and again, not a lot of water, so it's playable yet very challenging still for the best players. But Roost is certainly a course that you'll experience a lot of lush green grass, wildflowers, and it does really give you that old Florida feel. When you play Karoo, there's a lot of bunkering and a lot of I call it rugged yet refined. It feels more firm and fast. It gives you a feeling of, you got to really sometimes land the ball 10, 15 yards short and let it bounce up because it plays so firm. So they're total contrast to one another, and I think it gives golfers two great options and some variety when they come here to Citrus Farms.
Well, 36 holes of championship golf is plenty. You've done it. You've done enough. But there's more, right? But wait, there's more, like the infomercials late at night. Talk about the squeeze and the wedge, please.
Yeah, of course. So Mike Nuzzo designed the squeeze and the wedge, did a fantastic job. So if we start with the squeeze, it's a 10-hole golf course. There's holes ranging from a 100-yard par three to a 550-yard par five. A lot of the par fours are around that 300 to 330 range. So for the better player, it's drivable. There's a lot of risk reward options out on the squeeze, and it's all fairway height. It's not, there's not any tricks to it. There's a lot of great contouring. It's kind of what you see is what you get. If you want to try to drive the green, you got to hit a perfect shot because there's some bunkering around the greens, right? So the squeeze is a super fun golf course, whether you're a beginner golfer or you're here with your family and some junior golfers, or you're a golf professional that wants to have some risk reward and maybe settle some bets out on the squeeze after an 18-hole round. So the term the squeeze really is to squeeze in an extra 10 holes, gives that 2 hour, option versus playing another 4 hour round of golf. And then transitioning over to the wedge. The wedge is our par three course. There's 11 holes. They range from 70 to 120 yards, and it's great. You can almost hit a putter on every hole from tee to green. However, it's it's still very tricky around the greens, and you got to be careful with some of the pin placements. But it's super fun. It's lit up at night, and it gives golfers that, like I said, that après golf. Well, it is golf. It's still that, you can tee off at 9 p.m. under the lights, under the stars, and really have a really fun round of golf with your friends, your colleagues, your family, your spouse, for example. So gives golfers a variety of golf, experiences here. So I'm super, excited, and I love seeing the smiles on people's faces when they come off the squeeze and wedge, right? They quite often say, I wish that was more holes. I wish the squeeze was 18, right? Because it's so much fun, but it is that perfect, a 2 hour golf round on the squeeze or a 1 hour round on the wedge. And even the wedge and the squeeze where you finish is right at the porch, which is a great outdoor food and beverage outlet with a wood-fired pizza truck and a Jeep that's been turned into a bar and some really nice, outdoor seating and lighting. So it's a great vibe. It's super fun and kind of gives something for everybody.
So are you hearing a lot of the similar comments with the squeeze? I mean, that's kind of unique. We hear that in championship golf courses and the par three short courses are really popular right now, but to put some par fives, fours, and threes into a confined, I shouldn't say confined, but a smaller package, it's very unique.
Yeah, it's unique. I think that par three course, short course, as you referenced, is blowing up in the golf world, but it's not too often you see a course that has, such a variety of holes. So there's three par threes. There's a 100-yard par three, and there's a 190-yard par three. So they certainly range and give golfers kind of different shots, different club selection, and it's designed to have fun. And that's what golfers have when they play the squeeze. I think it's unique and gives golfers that, extra maybe 9 hole or 10 holes to settle a bed and the other unique thing too, because I said I worked in Cape Breton, so our peak season up there is June, July, August, September. The days are long. You can generally play 36 holes in a day, whereas here in Florida, our peak season is, right now, Jan, Feb, March. Days are shorter, so it's a little more challenging to play 36 holes in a day. So our golfers really gives them an option to play another round of golf on the squeeze, maybe have dinner, maybe experience one of our other amenities, and then maybe head out on the wedge under the stars and finish off a perfect day with a fun round on the par three course. And the last thing on that is we have music playing on the par three course, so it really creates a fun, lively atmosphere out on the wedge. So super great.
Man, music on the golf course, finishing up at the maybe a cocktail, watching some other golfers come in. It sounds like a great time to me. Um, you're talking about sustainability is big across the Cabot portfolio. I know that you partnered with the Audubon International, not only for lodging but the golf course. Talk a little bit about the eco-friendly practices that you're seeing there at Cabot Citrus Farms.
Yeah, for sure. I think Ben Cowandour, he says it all the time, but sustainability is something that we're all very passionate about and have been practicing from the very start. It's super great now that we're, partnered with the Audubon Society, and we're actually the first multi-property brand to enroll in a new Audubon program that's called their Platinum Signature Sanctuary program, which is sort of all encompassing. It's not just golf; it's lodging, it's food and beverage, it's real estate, it's retail, it's basically the entire property. But not only is it just here at Citrus Farms, it's the entire Cabot portfolio, which is super exciting. So we certainly pride ourselves on being stewards to the destinations and giving back to the communities that we're involved with. And just a couple of touch points on the sustainability we're doing now is focusing on less water usage. Certainly, that's a big touch point in the world, and for us here at Citrus Farms, we're focusing on some practices to avoid or reduce our water usage. So, for example, I have this water bottle here. It's refillable water bottle. Every guest gets one, and quite often you'll see them. Up at Cape Breton or other Cabot properties, people keeping our water bottles, but they're refillable, reducing single-use plastics, and then on the golf course, for example, utilizing a lot of natural grasses to the area. So Cape Breton uses a lot of fescue turf. They're right on the ocean. It's all fescue grass. Here at Citrus Farms, we use a lot of Bermuda, Bahia, a lot of wildflowers on the golf courses. And these grasses are natural to the area. So they grow extremely well in the climate. They don't require as much water. They don't require, as much, chemicals to spray on them. We really, that's a huge touch point with Audubon is reducing fertilizer usage. And then on top of that, it really, provides the wildlife in the area, that sense of, old Florida, like I said, where maybe before any development was here hundreds of years ago, these are the types of grasses that they would have had their habitats on. So it's super great to be a part of that. And then some other fun things we do is, planting milkweed around the golf courses, creating a sanctuary for monarchs. It's called Monarchs in the Rough. So we have a couple butterfly sanctuaries around property. I think Karoo, we like to say, is maybe the only golf course named after a bird call, the sandhill crane. It's the sound that it makes when it does its bird call. So we're super focused on wildlife and really focused on sustainability, and it's super great to be a part of the Audubon program now, where we're held to the highest standard with golf course sustainability and environmental sustainability. So super excited to be a part of that, and we're going to continue to focus on that with our golf course design. Eliminating certain parts of the golf course, say the fairways that might not be in play, and then hence not needing to use as much water on those areas, bringing in some more wild native grasses, wildflowers, and things like that. So it's super super great to be a part of the program.
I love that you brought up the native grasses because putting the square peg into a round hole is what a lot of golf course designers have done in the past, and kind of getting away from that now, letting the land dictate the design and all obviously the environment. So very good on you guys, and props to that. Now I'm a golfer. I love golf. My wife's not necessarily a golfer. She'll go out and she'll maybe ride in a golf cart with me and everything. There's some other resort amenities there for people who I want to bring my wife down to Cabot Citrus Farms.
Yeah, of course. And I touched on that après golf experience. So, Cabot from the start has always been a golf focused brand. We focus on building golf courses that stand the test of time. Ben has drawn a lot of inspiration from St. Andrews, for example, that's been open for over, 5 centuries. And it's withstood the test of time. It outlives, the buildings and a lot of the people. And Ben really wants to build golf courses that will, long outlive all of us. Cabot's always been a golf focused brand, but super excited to have a community here with a lot of great amenities. For example, like you said, if your wife comes along, she's not a golfer. Well, we're working on a great health and wellness program. We have a great sporting club with, a bass fishing pond. It's catch and release bass fishing, and it's great for the family, great for people of all ages. We have a great sporting club and two great, USA level one guides that will guide groups out on our sporting club with archery, axe throwing, five stand sporting clay shooting. And then on top of that, we're focusing on the build out of some more amenities like racket sports, aquatics. So we'll have some swimming pools, and then focusing on some of the food and beverage and the great dining options with our clubhouse that'll be open in a little over a year. We have the Grange Hall opening very soon, which is a beautiful dining outlet in a barn, and then some of our other amenities. So I think it's super great. We want to provide not only just an experience, but an experience that's world class, whether it's golf, whether it's at our sporting club or racket facility, and create something for everybody. We're seeing the demographic of golf nowadays, especially in resort golf and destination golf, is a lot of families, a lot of couples. It's not just like 20 years ago, you'd see a lot of, middle-aged men going on golf trips, but now it's a family trip. You're bringing along your kids, you're bringing a lot of couples, and I think we're trying to cater to everybody and create an experience that everybody can enjoy. So super excited to have all of these great amenities at our resort and a part of this community that we're building.
That's fantastic. I love to hear it because I love playing golf in the morning, then meeting the family at the pool or whatever we're gonna be doing for the rest of the day. So that's fantastic. Back to golf though. You've got a 2 acre putting course. You've got TrackMan equipped driving range. What are you hearing? Are you seeing a lot of your guests, a lot of your residents enjoying the practice facilities and utilizing them fully?
Yeah, 100%. It's like I said, something for everybody, an experience that everybody will remember. So for our driving range, for example, we're equipped with TrackMan driving range. when guests come to the driving range, it's not just golf balls on a hitting deck, hitting balls out into the range. It's TrackMan range monitors at every hitting stall. So it's really if you're a serious golfer and you want to know exactly the yardage that your 7-iron is carrying versus your 8 versus your 9, it's giving you all of that information. But then if you want to have some fun with your buddies, after the round, you can do a long drive contest. You can do closest to the pin. You can actually play a full 18-hole round of golf on the TrackMan range. And then on top of that, there's a lot of fun games for the families, for kids. It really does have something for everybody. And it goes back to, creating world-class experiences, not just in golf, but maybe at the driving range or our putting green, for example, our Tangerine putting course. It's 18 holes of, and it's similar to, some of the other Himalaya style putting courses where a lot of great contouring, a lot of tricky putts. If you overhit one, you hit it too hard, maybe by 6 or 7 feet, it might roll down a slope 30 feet away from the hole. So it creates a lot of super fun experiences for the guests. And on top of that, our TrackMan range is lit up at night, our putting course is lit up at night, and as well the wedge. So it really creates that, like I keep saying, that après golf experience. It gives guests options after dinner or before dinner, late in the evening. Hey, let's go play the wedge. Let's go, walk out of our 4-bedroom cottage right out onto the putting green and play the putting course. And the music's going, the lights, everything really under the stars on a nice 75-degree Florida night. It's magical. It really is. So we really create that great vibe that everybody keeps talking about. It's really like a playground, like it's almost Disney World for golfers. It's super fun. There's something for everybody, and it's truly a world-class experience that I think people will remember, and it'll make them want to keep coming back. So it's super great.
You talk about coming back, and guests are going to come, they're going to go, they're going to come back. Obviously, if they have a good experience, you do have residents there on property in and around the area. What do you see with the whole property, golf and the sporting aspect of it, kind of like adding to a sense of camaraderie with the guests, with the residents?
Yeah, yeah. So it's super great. I mean, I think golf in general has a great sense of camaraderie and connection, but I think that goes far beyond the game itself. I mean, you can relate as a golfer. There's no better feeling than walking the fairways with a group of old friends, having some good laughs, playing a great round of golf, and then having a great meal and maybe a cocktail after, right? So I think there's more to it than simply just the game of golf. And I think if there's anything that, the pandemic taught us is the importance for human connection, the importance to get out in nature, experience that, bucolic bliss, get away from the world and just have that, serene natural environment. So whether you're, going for a walk on the golf course, hitting the ball, not keeping score, or you're playing a competitive round with your friends, it really does create that sense of camaraderie and connection. Um, but aside from the golf, I mean, we're a walking only golf course in the wintertime, so it does create that, experience. You're walking the fairways, you have maybe a couple of caddies carrying your golf bags, and then you finish your round, and then you walk into our walking village. And our walking village is 36 cottages, a combination of 2 and 4 bedroom real estate options that are privately owned, but quite often are available for guests to rent out for the night or for a golf trip for a stay and play. And these cottages aren't built like your standard style hotel room or lodge, for example. It's built to feel like home. So when you are in the cottage, you quite often we see guests sitting on the back patio around the table having a family style meal. Maybe they're playing cards. We have some cornhole lawn games out behind the cottages. So quite often, those golfers are continuing to foster and build those relationships, have that sense of camaraderie and connection far beyond the round of golf. And then on top of that, the Cabot community, really, we're starting to see guests come from all over the world that have visited Cabot Cape Breton. They're wearing maybe the Cabot Links logo, or they've visited Cabot Bordeaux and they have the new, Cabot Bordeaux logo, or Cabot Highlands. So we're really, I think, starting to build a great community of Cabot supporters. And I think, there's a sense of pride wearing the Cabot logo. And I think we're starting to see that more and more. So whether you're, at Citrus Farms, building a sense of camaraderie, maybe you're out on the putting green playing with some other folks that are staying in the cottage next to you, or you're getting to know some of the staff members, the caddies, or you're traveling all over the world visiting different Cabot properties. It's like, quite often we're seeing repeat guests and we're not shaking their hands, we're sometimes giving them hugs. And that's just the, sense of community and connection that Cabot has built and will continue to build. So it's so much fun to be a part of, and I think we'll only continue to see more and more connectivity and camaraderie on our golf courses. So super fun.
Well, I'm a hugger, so I expect a hug when I get down there. So
Absolutely. Absolutely.
if it's really hot and we're all sweaty, maybe I'll dap you up. But
Maybe. Yeah.
afterwards, after
I
dinner, maybe
appreciate
when we're
that.
nice, air
Yeah.
conditioned. Um,
Anytime.
all right, fantastic. I don't want. I'm going to hold you to that. Now you're seeing quite a few golfers. I know everything's just kind of opened up. It's just getting, you're unveiling everything kind of recently, although it's trickled out. Are you seeing a lot of seasoned golfers as well as those new to the game? Maybe at the Wedge or whatever, playing, kids out there hitting some golf balls, dad's taking them out on the big course or whatever.
100%. I mean, I think the short courses like the squeeze and wedge, they are attracting golfers of all skill levels, whether you're brand new to the game, and we've seen that boom since COVID with a lot of people getting into the game. I think of my best friends that I grew up with, their girlfriends, for example, or fiancés and wives. They've never played golf growing up, but now they're playing. They want to play. And whether they would just want to come walk along or they want to actually play the round, I look at the squeeze and the wedge and TrackMan range are all great experiences to help continue to grow and foster the growth in the world of golf. But certainly seeing a lot of people out on the squeeze and wedge just having a blast. They're having laughs. They're maybe walking along with a Cabot cocktail or one of our Cabot ales, and just having a great time. So I think, there's no question that our golf experiences attract all different types of people, different skill levels, different people looking for different experiences. Even looking at, say, Karoo and Roost, if you're a traditionalist and you love, the old country clubs of the Northeast, you come down here, they make gravitate more towards Roost because it's that traditional feel. It's like you're out in that old Florida, country club, maybe some smaller greens and some really big live oak trees. Or if you're that maybe a new era golfer, a new wave, you're maybe a little younger, you're here on a bachelor trip, for example. Those folks may gravitate towards Karoo and want to really like duke it out on the wedge late at night, right? Whereas that traditionalist might want to play one 18-hole round of golf. Maybe they want to play the putting course, but they want a great meal after, and they want a nice bottle of wine, and so really creating a resort and an experience for everybody. And I think that's one of the great unique qualities to Cabot Citrus Farms is having that all-encompassing experience for all different types of people.
Well, I'll get you out on this one, Mike. I always ask our guests to take out your crystal ball. And you teased a little bit to the clubhouse, to racket sports pools. But what are you seeing at Cabot Citrus Farm in the next 5 years, 10 years down the road in that crystal ball?
Yeah, so we do have a master plan. There's certainly a lot more real estate development that will be ongoing with different styles of homes. So I've talked about our 36 cottages, 2 and 4 bedroom. We have another 36 cottages that will be built closer to Roost and continue to expand on that, walking village. And we have some fairway homes, which would be great 2-story with swimming pool style option. It's maybe a more permanent living residence. So we're talking real estate development for a number of years down the road. And I get asked this question all the time, and I always say the sky's the limit. We're super fortunate when we took over this property. There's 1,200 acres, and I would say over half of that is undeveloped. So there's certainly opportunity for continuous growth, and whether that's in real estate, amenities. I don't like to say we're going to build more golf courses. I don't know. But I certainly think there's continuous opportunities for growth. But in the actual, current golf department, some of the focuses of ours is building, golf instruction, junior camps, really catering to the local community, getting a lot of those folks out here, especially during the summer months when when we're not quite seeing as many people traveling south. They're more so heading north to play some of the other properties. So continue to build that out, club fitting experience. We have a great back driving range. Would love to build a great, academy back there with maybe a couple indoor hitting bays. So we're really going to continue to grow the golf department, and certainly, like I said, the sky's the limit. So we'll kind of see what happens, but our focuses right now would be on those amenities, our health and wellness, and some of our real estate offerings. So it's super excited. The four golf courses we have now are amazing, super fun. Variety for everybody, and I'm super pleased to be where we're at. So it's been a lot of hard work for a number of years, and it's super great and fun to be a part of it, and kind of see the culmination of all that hard work and effort, and see the smiles on our guest faces when they get to experience and enjoy it. So it's been great.
I'm excited. I can't wait to get down there. Mike Johnston, thank you very much for joining us on the podcast.
It's been a pleasure. It's so much fun to chat with you, and hope to see you here at Citrus Farms in the future, Rob.